Hello and welcome to Wonder of Learning channel. Today we'll be learning Aesop Fables for Children, Book 2. In this lesson we will read and listen to 10 Aesop fables and the moral to each story. Table of Contents: Belling the Cat, the Ant and the Grasshopper, the Bald Man and the Fly, the Boys and the Frogs, the Camel and the Arab, the Dog and the Shadow, the Jay and the Peacock, the Milkmaid and Her Pale, the Monkey and the Dolphin, the Nurse and the Wolf. Belling the Cat. Belling the Cat, page 1. Long ago, the mice had a general council to consider what measures they could take to outwit their common enemy, the cat. Some said this and some said that, but at last a young mouse got up and said that he had a proposal to make which he thought would meet the case. Page 2. You will all agree, he said, that our chief danger consists of the sly and treacherous manner in which the enemy approaches us. Now, if we could receive some signal from her approach, we could easily escape from her. I ventured, therefore, to propose that a small bell be procured and attached to a ribbon round the neck of the cat. By this means, we should always know when she is about and could easily retire while she was in the neighborhood. Page 3. This proposal met with general applause until an old mouse got up and said, "That is all very well, but who is to bell the cat?" The mice looked at one another and nobody spoke. Then the old mouse said, "It is easy to propose impossible remedies." The moral is, it is easy to propose impossible remedies. The Ant and the Grasshopper. The Ant and the Grasshopper, page 1. In a field one summer's day, a grasshopper was hopping about, chirping and singing to its heart's content. An ant passed by, bearing along with great toil an ear of corn he was taking to the nest. "Why not come and chat with me," said the grasshopper, "instead of toiling and mulling in that way?" Page 2. "I am helping to lay up food for the winter," said the ant, "and recommend that you do the same." "Why bother about winter?" said the grasshopper. "We have got plenty of food at present." But the ant went on its way and continued to toil. Page 3. When the winter came, the grasshopper had no food and found itself dying of hunger, while it saw the ants distributing every day corn and grain from the stores that they had collected in the summer. Then the grasshopper knew it is best to prepare for the days of necessity. The moral is, it is best to prepare for the days of necessity. The Bald Man and the Fly. The Bald Man and the Fly, page 1. There was once a bald man who sat down after work on a hot summer's day. A fly came up and kept buzzing about his bald pate and stinging him from time to time. The man aimed a blow at his little enemy, but his palm came up to his head instead. Again the fly tormented him, but this time the man was wiser and said, "You will only injure yourself if you take notice of despicable enemies." The moral is, you will only injure yourself if you take notice of despicable enemies. The Boys and the Frogs. The Boys and the Frogs, page 1. Some boys, playing near a pond, saw a number of frogs in the water and began to pelt them with stones. They killed several of them, when one of the frogs, lifting his head out of the water, cried out, "Pray, stop, my boys. What is sport to you is death to us." The moral of the story is, what we do in sport often makes great trouble for others. The Camel and the Arab. Camel and the Arab, page 1. An Arab camel driver, having completed the lading of his camel, asked him which he would like best, to go uphill or downhill. The poor beast replied, not without a touch of reason, "Why do you ask me? Is it that the level way through the desert is closed?" The moral of the story is, do not ask obvious questions. The Dog and the Shadow. The Dog and the Shadow, page 1. It happened that a dog had got a piece of meat and was carrying it home in his mouth to eat it in peace. Now on his way home he had to cross a plank lying across a running brook. As he crossed, he looked down and he saw his own shadow reflected in the water beneath. Page 2. Thinking it was another dog with another piece of meat, he made up his mind to have that also. So he made a snap at the shadow in the water, but as he opened his mouth, the piece of meat fell out, dropped into the water, and was never seen more. The moral of the story is, beware lest you lose the substance by grasping at the shadow. The Jay and the Peacock. The Jay and the Peacock, page 1. A jay venturing into a yard where peacocks used to walk found there a number of feathers which had fallen from the peacocks when they were molting. He tied them all to his tail and strutted down towards the peacocks. When he came near them, they soon discovered the cheat, and striding up to him, pecked at him and plucked away his borrowed plumes. Page 2. So the jay could do no better than go back to the other jays who had watched his behavior from a distance. But they were equally annoyed with him and told him, "It is not only fine feathers that make fine birds." The moral of the story is, it is not only fine feathers that make fine birds. The Milkmaid and Her Pale. The Milkmaid and Her Pale, page 1. Patty the milkmaid was going to market carrying her milk in a pail on her head. As she went along, she began calculating what she would do with the money she would get for the milk. Page 2. "I'll buy some fowls for Farmer Brown," she said, "and they will lay eggs each morning, which I will sell to the parson's wife. With the money that I get from the sale of these eggs, I'll buy myself a new dimity frock and a chip hat. And when I go to market, won't all the young men come up and speak to me? Polly Shaw will be that jealous, but I don't care. I should just look at her and toss my head like this." Page 3. As she spoke, she tossed her head back, and the pail fell off of it, and all the milk was spilt. So she had to go home and tell her mother what had occurred. "Ah, my child," said the mother, "do not count your chickens before they are hatched." The moral of the story is, do not count your chickens before they are hatched. The Monkey and the Dolphin. The Monkey and the Dolphin, page 1. A sailor, bound on a long voyage, took with him a monkey to amuse him while on shipboard. As he sailed off the coast of Greece, a violent tempest arose in which the ship was wrecked, and he, his monkey, and all the crew were obliged to swim for their lives. Page 2. A dolphin saw the monkey contending with the waves, and supposing him to be a man, whom he is always said to befriend, came and placed himself under him to convey him on his back in safety to the shore. When the dolphin arrived with his burden in sight of land not far from Athens, he demanded of the monkey if he were an Athenian, who answered that he was, and that he was descended from one of the noblest families in that city. Page 3. The dolphin then inquired if he knew the Piraeus, the famous harbor in Athens. The monkey, supposing that a man was meant, and being obliged to support his previous lie, answered that he knew him very well, and that he was an intimate friend who would, no doubt, be very glad to see him. Page 4. The dolphin, indignant at all these falsehoods, dipped the monkey under the water and drowned him. Moral of the story is, he who once begins to tell falsehoods is obliged to tell others to make them appear true, and sooner or later they will get him in trouble. The Nurse and the Wolf. The Nurse and the Wolf, page 1. "Be quiet now," said an old nurse to a child sitting on her lap. "If you make that noise again, I will throw you to the wolf." Now it chanced that a wolf was passing close under the window as this was said, so he crouched down by the side of the house and waited. Page 2. "I'm in good luck today," thought he. "It is sure to cry soon, and a daintier morsel I haven't had in many a long day." So he waited, and he waited, and he waited, till at last the child began to cry, and the wolf came forward before the window and looked up at the nurse, wagging his tail. Page 3. But all the nurse did was shut down the window and call for help, and the dogs of the house came rushing out. "Ah," said the wolf as he galloped away, "enemies' promises were made to be broken." The moral of the story is, enemies' promises were made to be broken. In this lesson, we read and listened to 10 Aesop fables and their morals. Thank you for learning with me today. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel and share it with your friends. We hope you will join us again soon for another lesson on Wonder of Learning. Until then, bye-bye.